When I turned 30 years old, in 24 hours, I lost my husband, my house, and my job. So, hello, identity crisis. Who are you without those major societal defining characteristics? My energy, my soul behind the scenes was working with the universe to conspire to give me this freedom that I craved, that I needed. And I got it delivered on a platter, but I wasn't ready for it. So it felt like a bomb of losing everything in a day. I manifested that. I was responsible for losing everything in 24 hours because that's what I needed to evolve. And that's when I started to realize that I was the conductor of everything. I'm not a victim. Nothing happened to me. This is not outside of me. Everything was coming from within, as it does for all of us and how we're all connected. I really unlocked myself when I finally took accountability. And I think people use good intentions as an scapegoat for accountability.
Welcome to Prodigal, the podcast, where we discuss inspiring stories of self-discovery and transformation. Join your host, Don Jackson, and his dynamic co-host, Big Sean, as they lead you through captivating conversations, all designed to ignite your spirit and broaden your horizons. Whether you're on a journey of personal growth or simply enjoy staying up to date on the latest in culture, you've made the right choice. Get ready to be inspired, entertained, and enlightened. This is Prodigal, the podcast.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Prodigal the Podcast. Hi, I am your host, Don Jackson. Joining me, my prolific co-host, Mr. Big Sean.
What's up, baby? What's up? How you doing, man?
And it's a lovely, lovely day here in Southern California. The birds are singing, man. Yeah. It's a beautiful morning. I have my walk. I have my espresso. Now I'm here with you guys. So I'm ready, man. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we had a little bit of rain out here, a little storming for the last couple of days. But yeah, somebody like me, I don't get it out there in the water. And, I'm a black man. We don't do water too well. Shit, I'm keep my ass inside the house. You know what I mean? That's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, we got a very special guest today.
Yeah. She's pretty.
Whitney Joy.
Yes, she is.
Whitney Joy is joining us today. She has a very transformational story. From smuggling jewelry to being homeless on the beach to no more stamps in the passport. But we're going to dive into all that here in just a second.
You talking about the 7 pages?
Oh,
okay.
Yes, 7 pages.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the show, Whitney Joy.
Hey, lady. Woo-hoo.
Hello, my friends. Thank you for that warm introduction. My morning had to do more with keeping my 2 children in line. Getting a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old napping right now at the same time is a miracle in itself. But I am extremely excited to give you my full attention and to be diving into the important work that you do and the important messages that you share with your audience. And I'm just honored to be a part of it.
You said Absolutely. A 2-year-old and an 8-month-old?
Yes, sir.
Oh, God, bless your heart. Bless her heart, Lord. Ooh. Bless her heart. My 4-year-old granddaughter just left. Oh, Lord, no.
Tired?
Honestly, I can imagine your mornings, but no, I can't. It's been a long time.
Shit. It
looks
good on
fun.
you.
That's what we do. And it's been really fun to write a book in the middle of having those 2 kids. So I've kind of like birthed 3 children in the last 2 years instead.
Well, speaking of the book, let's start there. Of course, your life, your memoir, you had to live a life to write a memoir. So I'll just let you start from the beginning.
Thank you. With everybody's life, there's so much to include. How do you narrow it down? And I really had to sit with it to be like, what would be in best service? What is this purpose-driven creation meant to do? So instead of covering everything, I just told a story. I just took a transformational point in my life, full identity crisis, flipped myself upside down, And I relived it by writing it. And it is titled 7 Blank Pages, as you mentioned, because when I turned 30 years old, in 24 hours, I lost my husband, my house, and my job. So, hello, identity crisis. Who are you without those major societal defining characteristics? And at first I tried to fix it. I was a very, now I'd say I'm a recovering perfectionist, but I was also pretty arrogant and naive. I really just wanted to fix it. I was in denial, and I certainly didn't learn how to take accountability for any of it. But instead,
hold up real quick, because you said something and then I couldn't follow you anymore. All in 24 hours?
At 30?
Yeah.
Bless your
so,
heart.
I mean, divorce doesn't happen in a moment. If anybody's been in a relationship, you know that things are sometimes a long time coming. But the universe does have a particular sense of timing sometimes. And for a personality like mine, I see now that everything that I relied on, my entire foundation, needed to be taken out at one time for me to truly unplug and hit the reset button that my soul needed. So it happened the way that it was meant to, but everything did culminate in 24 hours. Sunday night, I moved out of my house. I turned over my keys. I said goodbye to my husband, crashed on my friend's couch, bawled my eyes out for the 100th time. And I was super excited the next morning to go to work, dive in. I cared about my career. I had been working on it for 10 years. It was a family-owned company. I was like, this is my redemption. I can do this. I can dig in. Now nothing is holding me back. The next morning, my boss slid a manila envelope across the table and said, here's your severance, or you're welcome to reapply.
Wow. Talking about detachment of so many things at one time. So that had to be some very traumatic situation. Well, all of the situations you just mentioned are traumatic.
Damn.
So how did
you DEI situation or what? They just up and said, hey, your ass is fired. Don't come here no more.
Well, the thing is, they offered me a promotion 6 months before, but it entailed a relocation. And at that point, my marriage was on the rocks. And if I would have moved, it would have put the nail in the coffin. Truth be told, we ended up 6 feet under anyway, but I said no. So then they started thinking, well, do we need her? What else can we do? And they figured out an alternative and just said, thank you for 10 years of service. This isn't performance-based, but we're eliminating the position.
That's that word right there. When they tired of your ass, they just eliminate it. You know what I mean? Just gotta go. That's crazy.
Exactly. So yes, a lot to process at once.
Yeah, so that definitely was a lot to process at one. Like I said, you had the traumatic side of it, and then the natural side of it of still bouncing back and still making a living and having a career. Now, throughout all of this, you're probably going to segue anyway, but I'm so interested to see, how did you smuggle diamonds into?
Yeah, well, that was going to be my question. I just want to know about the stones. Shit, do you still have some access to them? You know, I like diamonds and things, you know.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
No problem. I have a background in extreme sports and luxury. Gemology was something I got into when I was 16 years old, and I needed a job and I wanted a discount. So it's not the average career that your high school guidance counselor talks about, but there are a lot of jobs in the world around jewelry and high-end watches. I also have an ability to fly discounted rates because of family of pilots. So sometimes we would need to deliver a specific, say, an engagement ring that needed to be delivered by the next morning, or we missed the proposal that was going to happen and FedEx was never going to get it there. So sometimes they would send me.
Oh,
that's
so
the gemstone
nice.
smuggling.
Oh, okay. We thought you went over there to Africa somewhere, got up in the hills.
I was delivering where the smuggling part come in. You wouldn't smuggle.
She made it sound like she was over there doing some real criminal activity. I guess she don't understand. She's dealing with a thug over there. Yeah.
There are more stories than that.
Yeah.
There are more stories. There are more destinations. There's some with international borders that involve skydiving. There's some that involve fast trains, but we won't get too Mission Impossible on yet. At least not until you read the book.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well,
Well, I might say you lived a very interesting life. So,
hmm,
what was
calculated.
the turning point?
What was the what?
Turning point. You.
Turning.
It was like how I vision your story. It was like you were living, not say whatever life you were living and so forth, and it wasn't pleasing to you, but it was fun and whatever. But then you fell on bad times because this is what you weren't supposed to be doing. Correct?
Yep, you hit it there because I had a great life and I don't regret any of it. My marriage was wonderful. We lived in Vail. We did travel a lot. My ex was a professional snowboarder, so my life really evolved around extreme sport and luxury. But my
Mm,
soul wasn't at rest. My soul
mm,
craved evolution. My soul craved change. And it knew that there was something more, something different. And there was a point when I saw a quote that was hanging in my office. It said, it's an Eleanor Roosevelt quote. And it's, you must do the thing you think you cannot do. And my intuition said, leave your marriage. And I
mm,
kind of looked around the room like, who said that? That is not going to
mm.
happen. My ex is what, like, he was the one thing I needed. He was my rock, my heart. But after about 6 months, I started listening to that voice and I was like, there's something here. And I was so deep in denial. I was so caught up from receiving love by being a perfectionist and by having a front on that I learned through limiting beliefs in my childhood that I didn't even see the cracks in my own marriage. I didn't see my accountability for my actions, or more importantly here, my inactions to actually address anything, to be honest about it, to face it. So then
Mm.
my energy, my soul behind the scenes was working with the universe to conspire to give me this freedom that I craved, that I needed. And I got it delivered on a platter, but I wasn't ready for it. So it felt like a bomb of losing everything in a day. But really, I manifested that. I was responsible for losing everything in 24 hours because that's what I needed to evolve. But at that time, I didn't see it that way. I didn't have that perspective or that knowledge. That time, I was just angry and depressed and wanting to fix it until I was sitting in my friend's loft and I saw my passport sitting there. I was flipping through the pictures. And then in the back, there were only 7 blank pages left. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take off and travel until these are full. And then I will come back and I'll begin again. I'll move to New York. I'll get my job. I'll fix everything still. So I was half right, half still in denial, but it did get me out of the door and into the world. And on that journey, I went physically all around, but more importantly, I went very, very deep into myself. The characters that I met challenged me. They called me out on things that I wasn't ready to see from my community at home. Sometimes we need strangers to do that. We need to get out of our comfort zone, out of our
Correct.
security blankets, to be willing to face the mirror.
Mm.
So that
Go
means
ahead.
you did a lot. I'm going. I mean, you did a lot of introspection along the way. So tell us about that. When did yourself start talking to yourself when you started
Soul,
working on you?
yes. Well, soul resonance was coming through before I realized what it was. I realized I was remembering things versus learning them. And that fascinated me. I mean, I grew up with books like The Alchemist and Celestine Prophecy, and Buddha walks into a bar. But I also grew up in a church, and I grew up in a teepee, and I had kind of conflicting ideas of what spirituality meant to me. How is this all connected? Where does God come in? How is our energy controlling our lives or affecting it? But along this journey, somebody called me out. I was proudly recounting my adventures. And she's like, yeah, sounds like a interesting movie, but I wouldn't be in love with the main character because you're still not being real. You're changing things, but you're not going deep. So then I got into coaching, hypnotherapy. I really started looking into my shadow and my limiting beliefs. And that's when I started to realize that I was the conductor of everything. I'm not a victim. There's nothing happened to me. This is not outside of me. Everything was coming from within, as it does for all of us, and how we're all connected.
Whether we know it or not.
Yeah, that's deep.
Whether we know it or not, and it's always good to, once you tap in and to really understand that, and you kind of look back on your life and like, wow.
So you found
Right.
you went into hypnotherapy. hypnotherapy. So how did you find the therapist? Did you search through the yellow pages? You just said, well, damn, who am I going to trust to hypnotize me and me then do what? What does that look like? How do you walk through that path?
Well, I actually went to school to become one.
Oh, shit.
So my therapy was my learning, because I realized when I started asking these big questions, I didn't have the tools to understand even the questions I was asking. I didn't have the knowledge to go deep. So with literally the last room I had on a credit card, completely broke, living halfway around the world, I doubled down on myself and I signed up for hypnotherapy classes, coaching classes, because I was so intrigued by what the latent powers that lie within us, our subconscious, our intuition, our energy. I needed to learn about it. And I had faith that this was the right thing for me to do. And that energy was powerful enough to be able to attract the abundance, the part-time jobs, the person helping with the home, that allowed the journey to continue going. I mean, it's all connected and there are so many layers there, but it really was my own soul saying, you need to remember this vocabulary. You need to reconnect with who you are, so that way you can actually get to the next level of who you're supposed to be in this lifetime.
How did you tame your subconscious?
Tame? Oh, I wouldn't say I tamed her at all. I would say
How did
that
you bring it under subjectivity? How did you bring it in line?
by being real with it. And I still struggle with limiting beliefs all the time. I mean, talk to me about the last birth of my child. I literally had to get out of my own way. My spirit was hijacking my oxytocin and the baby wouldn't come out. Story for another day. But it's fabulous because your subconscious is so powerful and we're always learning about ourselves. But how I was able to get into coherence with it was to get quiet, stop talking, one, and get quiet enough to hear my heart, actually hear my intuition again and hone that discernment, because there's so many external pressures. There's so many, our ego wants to control everything. But for me, that's why I had to disconnect and go halfway around the world to get quiet enough to hear myself think. And then my subconscious was like, hey, Whitney, we have to deal with some things here. Let's be real. Let's be vulnerable. Let's talk it out. And that was, and like I said, it's an ongoing project. But by getting in alignment with that, it has unlocked a lot of power, which is in everybody. It's not special to me. Everybody. You're conscious, you can connect to the knowledge that's out there, the energy that's out there, and we're meant to be living a life that way.
So the one key thing that I heard in that was you had to be quiet and listen. Now that is a trait that I wish you could help all of the women in the world to be able to do, is to be quiet and listen sometime. And I mean,
Yeah.
If you could teach folk how to do that, can you hypnotize the rest of them to do that right there? You can make use of money for real.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I agree. You know, especially going through a heartbreaking divorce, you can always point fingers. You can always share someone else's story. You can always share your own heartbreak, and that's valid. But I think we get so caught up in the other person's role that we really don't want to take accountability for our own. And I mean, I really unlocked myself when I finally took accountability. And I think people use good intentions as an scapegoat for accountability too often, men and women, but especially in this dating world, people like to point fingers and expect perfection versus being willing to look in the mirror, evolve yourself, and then to find a better relationship.
That's true. That's true. Men do that also. We're guilty of that.
Everybody can be a better listener. Like you said, everybody can be.
Yeah. But we as men, you know, we kind of know everything as it is anyway. And what we don't know, we ain't get ready to admit it to anyone. That's
Well, you know,
with me.
we do. You know, if you believe in God or super conscious or the fact that it's all within us, as well as outside of us, technically then all of the knowledge of everything that has ever been and ever will be is within you already. So in that way, you're correct. It is just about what we choose to remember or what we've unlocked in this moment.
That's a smart lady there, Don. Miss Joy.
I always want to slide on the pole.
What you control your own narrative.
And I can go either way. No, by saying that, you spend a lot of time with Source. So I want you to peel back that onion and take us all the way to Source.
My journey is very individual. I know you've had your own experiences, and I believe in the power of inception deeply. I believe that, as an example of that, take the quote, "Love is blind." Everybody's heard it. Everybody knows it. It's a cliche. It's on every Hallmark card, whatever you want to think of. But once you've had an inception of that quote, if you've been in a relationship, if you've had somebody be unfaithful or lie to you or anything that made you all of a sudden step back and be like, wow, I didn't see that because I was blind by my love. If you live it, it matters to you. It means something to you. And talking about Source, it's a journey of yourself to connect. Somebody telling you about it is one thing. My journey has taken me through therapy. It has taken me to ayahuasca. It has taken me deep around the world. It has taken me learning from a lot of mentors, a lot of meditation, a lot of belief in astral travel and the powers that are unseen. The world that is unseen is around us at all times. It's just fact. It's science. But learning about that and diving in has peeled back the layers for me, which I believe that everybody could benefit from. But again, the journey is so individual. To tell one person how to do it would take the joy of remembering away.
Yes, because of impermanence, you can't grab it. I mean, it's always popping in and out of existence. It's just now it's forever, and it's always moving. So it's like trying to pick up water and hold on to it. So you beautifully said that it's an individual journey. So I can't express that which I experience and feel. I can only try to give you a sip of it. That's it. Same you or anyone else. So that's the beauty of it. It's a personal journey, learning yourself. It really is.
I think for everybody that definitely involves an ego death.
That's where I was going.
An ego death.
A couple things you did ayahuasca. Have you did an MNT?
Yep.
Any psychedelics?
Yep.
Michael.
No.
So you know what you have killed your ego. You know what ego death is. So how do you shut up the chihuahua? I call the ego the chihuahua that always tried to take control in this reality, and it's wanted to all to be about self, ego.
I think it.
You think it?
I thank it. Gratitude.
You think?
I think it. We have it for a reason. And it's a critical player in our existence and in our evolution. It has a role to play.
Correct.
I don't shut it out. I respect it. And I say, hey, you are an important team member. You're not the only team member. And that's how we have to look at it, is we have everything for a reason. It goes back to what is good and bad. What is black and white? It's all perspective. It's all perception of it. So my ego, it's like, well, thank you. You kept me alive in some situations. That's cool. We've had some success together too, but you're not the only one running the show. So even for instance, like in a meditation, if I'm doing a future meditation, or if I'm doing a 5-dimensional read on somebody else and really communicating with their spirit, I will politely ask my ego, my brain, to step aside. And I say, thank you. We will need you later to interpret this information we get. I kind of think of my brain sometimes as Google Translate, because there's information coming through from Source. We have to be able to translate it to be able to do something with it. Source doesn't directly need our hands. We need our mind. So just like that, we need our ego for parts of our life. But it's a team approach.
Team approach. You're a tool. You're not Source. You're not needed right here because I have to go in deep. Where I have to go, you're not going to understand because it's only understand inwardly. Ego is not going to understand it. You can't understand the unknown. Yeah. That
Well,
was
the
beautiful.
Christians would say, well, I believe the Christians would relate that to speak it into existence. Whenever you have something going on, you just, you edify it, you just bring it out by living it in your truth. And that's deep. But let me ask this question without giving too much of it away. Just tell us about one chapter in your book and your story that would leave folks shocked or to be like cracking wide open for them to like, she did what now? What's the shocking factor in your story?
Well, there's skydiving, there's travel, there's going through financial things, but I think what would shock people the most is the fact that, I was 30 years old and I'd never been single. So I'm figuring out Tinder all around the world. And there's some really fun experiences meeting people in different countries, exploring different sides of myself, my sexual relationships, just figuring out what I wanted, who I am. So it gets interesting.
Okay. Well, you say your sexual relationships.
In July, it comes out in the next couple of months.
July 7th. Yes.
July
7th, 7 blank pages will come out.
Okay. And they can purchase it where?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Amazon. Okay. Awesome. So you guys want to get that book. It sounds very intriguing. I can't wait to get my copy.
Yeah. I need a copy of that because I'm trying to hear about what happened with these sexual escapades. She said she's traveling around the world. What was you doing out here?
Like everybody's story. There's so many sides. There's so many facets to our personality. And it's written as a story. It's not a full memoir. It's not an autobiography. It is a story. Entertainment.
Okay. So the characters in this book here, the names will remain silent, and I got
some of them. Some of them wanted to be exactly who they are, and some of them just have nicknames.
Woo! Any of them called Big Daddy, or
You'll be in the next book. I promise. It'll be about this journey right now. So you're writing your character right now, my friend. And I have ideas.
You're writing the end this story right now.
Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time.
So you're just you can just look back now and say you were following your telos and your gut and your intuition that has led you to this point right now.
Absolutely. The energy was here.
In the beginning unknowingly, but now knowingly. You're actively participating in because now you understand what's going on.
Very much
so. I look for it. If you could just take us into a minute meditation and direct our listeners on how to enter into silence and to bring themselves to the core. Okay.
What I would do always, in a minute, here we go. Sit in a comfortable position. Make sure your feet are flat if you can. Close your eyes. You trust your space that you're in. Close your eyes. Imagine a white light going up into the heaven. White light with flow going up and going down. And imagine it opening up like a tree branch towards the stars, connecting with every single one of them. You're connected to what's above you. You're connected to the infinite knowledge, the infinite energy of everything that's above us, everything that's within our spirit. Have that energy go through your body, starting at your head, spilling over your shoulders, going down through your body, and exiting through your feet, going deep into the core of the earth, opening up like roots. You are also grounded. You're connected to the reality of this world. You're connected to every living being in this world. Sit in this space. Feel the strength of the earth. Feel your rawness, your realness with everything above you. Trust your connection above. Feel the grace, feel the light, everything that's around you. It's right here in the middle that your spirit chose to be. Exactly who you are, exactly where you are. Sit in this space and see where the journey takes you. I'm not sure, but that was probably close to a minute.
Yeah, almost. Yes. I felt like I was going to sleep there.
It's like we were like we went on a journey and haven't went anywhere. Quick.
I don't think I've ever tried to do that in 1 minute before. So
yeah. Oh, okay.
We were talking like
I felt a tingle. Yeah.
You guys are ready. You want to go.
I was saying, was I supposed to feel a tingle?
And all that and back and
shit.
Took up
damn,
the source.
Donna, you should have said 2 minutes.
We might have to.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
if you gave her 2
Imagine,
minutes, there ain't no telling where I've been. Shit.
Oh, well, after that, the next step is open. Listen. And that's where you said you can be quiet and listen because your soul will talk right to you. As soon as you're open, you're grounded, you're open, sit and listen. It comes. Next time I'll take you on a personal magic activation tour. I think both of you would enjoy that.
Oh, wait, hold on. One at a time, right? Yeah. I don't want to be in his same thought. Shit. I don't want his light to be in my light, okay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We need all we got our own daddies, okay?
I think he can come.
Yeah.
There you go. You guys are all there's enough space in the universe.
If I bring my ego, he can't come with us.
No, there's not enough room in that.
Get up.
Yeah. No. Cause he gonna say something that's gonna piss me off in the middle.
Get up.
Oh shit! No.
Gotta go where you try to go at it. Don't fuck it.
Oh man, I love it. You guys are hilarious.
Oh my God.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was a nice journey. Audience, I'm not going to charge you guys for that one.
No, that was for me. Yeah, that was for me. That was all. Hold on. That was all me, dog.
I don't know. I need to get up. I need to get on an organ, or we need to shut up. I don't know. You got the floor, young lady. Most people can't do that to me. I know we ain't doing all that. So, what you want to talk about?
I just imagine
nice when people surprise you
and put their fingers on you. You know what I'm saying? They're like, judge.
So let me ask you a question. Yes. In your lives, you've been all around, internal, external. Tell me a story when you've had a blank page. What was your blank page moment? What's something that you had that you depended on was just completely gone, and you had a blank page to start over? Reinvention, transformation, you name it.
You can go. I'll go first. Well, for me, I had a lot of blank pages, but one more story that really stands out is when I decided when I began on my deconstructing journey, and then really had to come to terms that everything that I was ever taught, and I won't say it was a lie, it wasn't the actual truth. And who I really am, I had to come with terms with that. And then going through my dark night of the soul and really relearning who I am, what this is, what if life is all about, and who I am not this body, I am not Don, this is just the avatar. There's only one thing happening, and that is source, God, consciousness, whatever higher power you subscribe to. And that's the only thing that's happening. Consciousness is unfolding upon itself. And this is the experience. It's the subject, the witness, but it's never the object. That which we see, that which we perceive, it could never be us. It's a doing. So that would be my more prolific blank page, if I had to say anything, is finding out that everything I was taught was wrong, what reality is, and then relearning both, and then to come to where I am now, that I'm at peace. I know I'm source. I'm not this. I'm none of this. We're none of this. We're the same thing. And my favorite metaphor is consciousness playing chess on different timelines, in different avatars. And each avatar has its own little source story and its own little experiences. You only have the only experience you have. Sean gonna only have the only experience he have. You're gonna have the only experiences you have, but it's the same source. Nothing else could be happening. There's nowhere else to go. Now, when I had to find out heaven, it was not like it was taught to me. Like that really crushed me. But then when you figure out that you're the only game in town, meaning that it's only source, and source is the only thing doing this, energy is just being transferred. And my last little blank page in the closing, you have the ocean. That ocean is nothing but water. That water has waves. The waves have bubbles that pops up. We're like those bubbles that's right now popping up, thinking we're a separate self, but we're connected to source. But when that bubble pops, we fall back into the waves, and we fall back into source. And here we are.
I love the analogy of the ocean. Great.
Yes.
My one white page that I think that I will share, because I got 375,000 of them. The one for me that was truly transformational was the day I woke up and realized that my ass was incarcerated. I was locked up at 20 years old. And the day before, I was serving in the United States Army. And when I realized, when it came real for me, was, oh shit, this is real. I'm not going home tomorrow. And my white page in that was everything that I thought I knew before. It don't mean nothing, because this is a whole total different world, and it's the irony to this. I was in a county jail in Radcliffe, Kentucky, and that's because that's where I got locked up, coming out of Georgia. Anyway, but I was in this cell, in a holding cell, and it was an 8-man tank, and there was a guy in there with us, and it was 5 of us in this tank. This man had long brown goldish hair, long beard, and he called himself Jesus. He thought he was Jesus. And being as a Christian and a believer, I was really, offended by that. But it's the fact that, I didn't understand what crazy was, you know what I'm saying? And he was locked up in this place, in this space with me for killing his mother. Now let's think about that. This man killed his mother. His name is Jesus. He think he's Jesus. He's the world's savior. But he's sitting next to me over here. And when I realized that I'm not going home, I beat the shit out of his ass for killing his mother. And, that was the white page for me. That's when I realized, my ass is not going home tomorrow. So, we won't get all off into that next. But yeah, that was a moment for me. Thank you for reminding me. Hallelujah. Made it through that.
Amazing what people are capable of. All of us. You talk about, we're all connected. We are all source. But in our individual avatars, what we're capable of in this human experience, it's dramatic. And we're meant to have all the sides of ourselves for a reason. But there's a lot in the world that happens like that, where you're just like, that just shouldn't be. You shouldn't kill your mom. Most people are taught that way. Hopefully she didn't abuse him or something else that we also shouldn't happen. But
no, she was asleep and he killed her. The boy was just crazy as hell. But and here I am, miles and miles away from home, and I'm an only child, and I was missing my mama. And then to find out that this dude is over here because he killed his, no, that's called it disrespect. And so yeah. Anyway.
So, Mr. Joy, speaking of evil, that's evil. Evil is prevalent in the world. We see it every day. It's happening right now. Just like that man thought he was Jesus and killed his mama. Someone is doing that now under the same pretense or other pretense. How do you describe evil? How do you fare with it?
Great question. It's hard to sit back right now with what's going on in the world. It's really hard to find your place, to be like, how do I make change? How do I do something about it? How do you describe evil? First of all, I would say it's confused. Because anybody that could act in a way like that doesn't understand. They're very hurt. They're very confused. That is not an excuse. It's not a reason to do something. But evil has to be rooted at something deeper. Just like love is rooted at something deeper. Evil must be connected to traumas, generations, things like that we can't see on the surface. But then what do you do about it?
So that brings up a question. Do we have free will?
Question. Fate versus free will. Do you think so?
I believe
I used to. We are free to. We have free to choose. We don't have free to will.
I believe in free will.
We have free to choose. And I say that because just like any of us, if we had the free will, we would will that not to happen. We can't change that.
Well, don't we will that good things happen to us and not bad things?
If I could will, I would will good things happen all the time. If I in my control to everybody, I would will that. I would will a good day for everybody every day. I would will that you got enough money, they got enough money, they're not starving. I will will that. I believe all of us will will that if we had free will. So this is the mind of God. This is the experience that it is, and we have the free will to choose within that which is presented. But we don't have the will to change anything else. Now, I'm going to say this and give you the floor. I say that consciousness is the only thing that has the will. We're just experiencing. And then we're choosing in the experience. We're choosing in the experience as a localized subject in the dream. Because for consciousness to experience himself, once again, he has to go within himself and separate himself from himself to localize himself to be in the dream.
But in will a wish?
A wish?
Yeah. I mean, like you say, you would will that everyone would be wealthy enough to have food. Well, I can wish that you got enough. Will is not my duty to go out here and make sure.
Free will here. I wasn't saying what wish is. I'm saying what free will is. Do we actually have free will, or do we have choice in the will, and which is already not say predetermined, because I don't believe nothing is predetermined, because the only game in town is consciousness. So it's nothing for him to compare anything with or bounce himself off or to determine if I want. It just happens how it happens when it happens. It's undeterministic.
It's interesting because Labels make things confusing sometimes when they don't need to be. Like, how do you define free will? That probably needed to be done right now before even discussing it. So make sure you're coming around to the same thing. However,
Correct.
we put labels on things to communicate. We need that to survive. Society has always done that. But like what you're talking about is consciousness just is. And consciousness doesn't judge good or bad, evil, greatness. It just is. And
Yes, it is.
I believe our soul's purposes are all to evolve. And you can't do that without challenge. The willing good every day, I believe, would take away some of why we're here to be human. We are here as a spirit that chose to reincarnate in a human body to experience being human. That means healing your body. When you get a cut, you see it, you heal yourself. We're designed to do that. Physical is easy to witness. It's easy to understand. Your heart is different. We're here to feel heartbreak sometimes, to mend it, to connect, to rise above. We're meant to have a spherical experience to understand both sides of the spectrum. But free will to me is you have the choice of what you do during the day. Do I want a coffee or do I want a tea? I have free will to decide. To me, it's about choice. What you're talking about, I think, was a bigger picture of a will over our destiny. Can we change fate? Which I agree with you. I think consciousness, there are some things that we don't have control over that are outside of us because the entire world isn't right here. Again, that's just our ego thinking that we can control anything else.
Beautifully stated. Beautifully stated. Yeah. Yeah. And to try to understand the unknown is a circle of, all we can do is have a circular conversation.
It is.
That which is not you can't be objectified. So if you can't objectify something, how are you going to talk about it? You can't, because it's you. Why you think you can't even see yourself? You're too close to yourself. You're too close to yourself. So for consciousness to experience himself, he has to separate himself just to experience himself.
Why, like universal laws. It just is. And
it just is.
You can compare it to gravity. You don't have to believe it. Gravity does not care, but it's real. It exists.
Wait. Let's back that up. So you better, that's some good shit there, bro. So you can't experience yourself because you can't see yourself. So is that why you can experience yourself in your dreams?
Yes.
Because you're in your dream and you remember seeing yourself doing X, Y, Z. Damn.
You have, if I could peel back down, you have source.
Okay.
That's all that there is.
Right.
Not to have experience.
Okay.
First, he has to have to think. Think brings on thought.
Yeah.
Perception brings on space.
Right.
And whatever that narrative is start unfolding. A story start to unfold. And now you have source, which is the witness, the subject.
Okay.
Is the witness that what he is dreaming. It's everything in it. So when you go to sleep, that's why you can be in New York playing, walking the streets, boom, eating ice cream and so forth, and then wake up. You ain't never went nowhere. It's all the place of consciousness. It's only one thing happening, consciousness experiencing itself. So that's why I don't judge no one no more, because we're the same source. Consciousness don't have nothing else to do. I'm sorry, y'all. It don't have nothing to do. You should understand that, Sean, because you're the only child.
Yeah.
Same thing. If you the only game in town, you don't have nothing else to do. It was kind of like conscious was out of delirium. It's still out of delirium trying to figure something out.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with experience. You the only thing, you can't compare yourself to nothing. So there's no right, no wrong. There's nothing. It's just whatever the fuck you want to experience.
Whitney, I'm gonna need to come get on the couch and get hypnotized and get my thoughts back centered, okay? You understand? I don't give a fuck what he talking about. I don't want to do this shit no more. I'll call my mama.
I love it. It's a good ride, isn't it? It's a fun ride.
It's a beautiful ride. Fun ride when you have like-minded people that can ride.
And healthy conversation.
That's healthy conversation, a very healthy conversation where you can be in a dimension on levels that was just here.
Boy, you get a glaze spray for that one.
There's no worry. Now is now. And it just is. We're just experiencing.
That's where the fun part comes in, because you can do things like astro travel, a remote view, lucid dreaming. You know, you can travel the world in your meditation. You can go wherever you want to go and see yourself in parallel universes.
That's the sexy shit.
No, hold on. She threw me.
No offense.
She threw me when she started out.
I can eat your brain on that. So let's talk about that astral travel.
Y'all gonna use a different word because you know what I'm saying, that shit take me straight to astral glide. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Puffy talking about. Why his ass locked up right now. Baby oil and astral glide. Shit, y'all can call it something else. Okay, the Milky Way or some shit. Well, no,
lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming.
There we go. Lucid dreaming.
Okay,
lucid
there
dreaming.
you go. Yeah.
Let's talk about extra lucid dreaming. I have fun doing it. You create a lot. But I like to hear your perspective.
That I just naturally did when I was younger and I didn't understand. And honestly, I had some very scary experiences with demons and different worlds, and to wake up in my bed just completely freaked out, and not just like a child's nightmare. Very, very, very real, because my spirit was somewhere else. It was experiencing these things. Now I have honed in on understanding, protecting, and intention with going to sleep, working in your subconscious. And the results have been extraordinary.
What was those 3 pointers again?
Intention, grounding, and protection. Sometimes even like when I would know I'll astral travel, I would wear a ring so that this physical body, if I was ever uncomfortable, I could touch the inside of the ring, and I would remind myself that my physical body is here, it's safe. And intention certainly mattered, because intention affects all of our life. It has a big effect on the subconscious and where you would go in like a lucid dream.
That's deep. Yeah. Just touch it.
So, a couple of questions before we let you go. What is life?
What is life? An experience. Life is living. As I mentioned, our spirit is part of Source, but it chose to come down here and walk the life you're in right now. It chose to experience being human. That means living. That means showing up for your life, even if you face challenges. It means embracing change. It means being brave enough to be vulnerable, to show your authentic self, to transform while you're walking this life. To me, life is existence. And I try and instill that in my children too, to be who they are, to have the courage. The fact is, life is going to change. That is guaranteed. And the fact is, we're not here for a long time in this body. You will die. We have a choice of how we live. We have a choice of how we view death. It's not the end. It's a change. But for my children, I just want them to be empowered to be who they are and to remember that this is supposed to be fun. Do we deal with some very real trauma and negative things in life? Absolutely. Not sugarcoating them. But we are supposed to have fun. Remember that this is a choice. And I'm Whitney Joy. Part of my namesake is to remember to bring joy to the world. But I try and remind myself that too.
Beautifully, wonderfully said. And my next question was going to be, what happens when this body quit metabolizing? But you did touch up on that as well. So are you Whitney Joy, or are you all that there is?
All that there is. I believe we all are. You said we're all also here with a role to play. Part of that is sharing stories. Part of that is giving voice to those that need to share and communicating it to those that need to hear things. That's why I was motivated to even write my book in the first place. I dealt with a lot of imposter syndrome. I'm not a writer. How can I do this? Why does anybody care? All of those things. But ultimately, it came down to we learn from story, and we're here to learn from each other. And if I truly believe that every voice matters, which I do, then I needed to get out of my own way and realize that mine does too. That's why I shared the story. And that's why I feel strongly about talking about the themes presented in it, to remind everybody that, again, like, none of these superpowers are special to just us or somebody that has a knowledge or somebody that goes to hypnotherapy school or has a PhD or has been incarcerated half their life. It's everybody. We all have universal talents that if you're conscious, you can connect. This isn't meant to be sick.
And what's the secret to manifesting?
Honesty. We think what we want.
Being
A lot of
honest
people
with
try to
yourself.
think. A lot of people try to think when they manifest. To me, it's about feeling. Your energy is what controls what comes to you. And your feeling, your emotions is the real power. But if you're not honest with yourself about what you feel or what you want, you're going to attract what you don't feel or what you want or not understand it. To me, it's honesty.
Heart-mind coherence.
Where the magic happens.
That's where the magic happens.
Mm.
That's where the journey starts. And I'm sure it's kind of been a little easy for you, because at that point, that's where you just jump off the cliff into the unknown and watch it work. And you did a lot of extreme sports, same thing.
A lot of jumping into the unknown, a lot of surrender, but balancing that with action, because we are co-creators of our experience.
Yes.
We have to do something about it, which is also the part of being human.
Mm-hmm. So you no longer look for source outside yourself.
Well,
You're the only game in town.
I got one last question. Just personally, I'd like to know. You say you got into skydiving, right? Okay. What would make you want to jump out of a perfectly good flying plane?
You know, I grew up in a family of pilots, so I think I've heard that a time or two. Everybody flies. But for me, it was the perfect juxtaposition of my life. Always in the driver's seat, always in control, meticulously curating every detail. But I tell you, when I made the decision to go skydiving for the first time, right after I decided my divorce paperwork, and my ex and I were skydiving together, I was all of a sudden free. I was attached for the ride. I could not control whether we lived or died. Nothing I could do was going to affect that. I was attached to somebody else who was completely responsible for my life. And I was so calm, alarmingly calm. He was like checking in on me, like, you okay? I loved it. I found it meditative as we circled up. It was beautiful stepping out onto the wing and standing on the outside of a plane that I grew up in. It was crazy when you finally jump and turn around. Falling backwards, I saw my ex standing there, and I was literally in a flash, saw my entire life, not as if I was going to die, but reminders of reality of who I was. And I saw him there, and in a flash, you're flipped over, diving into the unknown of the next. It's so beautifully paralleled where I was at in my journey, that the emotion, the physical, the adrenaline, everything was in coherence, and I just fell in love with it.
Bravo to you. Kudos. I'll invite you to go with me.
One of my stops on the book tour should be a skydiving stop, and I think you both should come.
Oh, okay, good. Well, ain't gonna happen.
I'll make sure it's in Dallas, so it'll be right in your back door.
Hey,
Oh, you come. I mean, I'll come and support you and take the pictures.
right.
That's what my husband says.
Damn, that's all right there. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I got you, George.
Well, baby, Whitney, understand
No,
something.
definitely you. We like to keep up with the book tour schedule so we can let our listeners know when you're coming to their city. Are any stops in Los Angeles or California?
Not yet, but hopefully so.
Okay, well, we'll make sure that happens then. And I'll be on my book tour, so we'll make sure I come to Austin.
Oh, I would love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sean, any closing words?
No, I'm staying far away from this woman. You know, I wanted to get on that couch and get hypnotized, but no, she ain't gonna really put me in the cup. I promise you, she ain't gonna put me in the cup. So. Shit, no.
You're connected all the time. Just turn that dial on.
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
act
Sean.
yourself figuring that
Yeah,
out.
bro.
Because entanglement.
Mm-hmm.
We've already connected, so you're forever connected.
That can be.
No, you're connected.
I can see her
You
ass
already
from
connected.
afar.
He can turn the cup now without even you being there. You connect.
No, hell no.
Lord.
I'm not even looking. I'm not even looking at your
Oh,
ass.
no.
No. I'm not even looking. No.
Quiet.
No.
Fix. Because of entanglement, we all connected. It's connected now. But
I'll leave a quantum ping out there for you. You'll know it.
That's
And
it.
every time you
That's a
see a little
beautiful-
ladybug.
she's on a nice frequency. So
Right.
it's good. We can come with that frequency, match that frequency,
Right.
and dance. And
The only
dance.
way that I will bump into this lady here.
Can't interrupt the frequency until you match it. Then when
The
you match
only
it,
way-
oh my God, blow that up and increase something new.
The only way that I'd bump into this lady is if she showed her ass up for a Dallas Stars hockey game. That's it. And,
Is that an
yeah.
invitation?
Well, shit, I got season tickets, you know. Now, I feel safe on that level right there. You know what I'm saying?
You want to watch a fight, you don't want to fight, huh?
Shit.
No more.
All my life. All my life.
Oh man, I've had so much fun. I'll tell you, you've definitely been will be one of our most memorable guests that really come with some substance, not just book knowledge or head knowledge, but some real scholarship, some real intuition, where your fruit speaks for yourself when we have tasted you, and we like that taste. It's your spirit. Beautiful, beautiful spirit. Yeah, nice fruit. Yeah. Any last words for our audience, Miss Joy?
Thank you both so much for having me today. It really is inspiring to have this type of conversation. This is what energizes me. This is what excites me. So thank you for creating the space for me to step into. And for anybody listening that is intrigued to learn more, hear more, read the book, please just go to whitneyjoy.com. There you can connect to social, you can listen to podcasts, order the book, one single source of truth.
Man, that's
Awesome.
cool. Can't beat that.
Can't beat it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us once again for another episode of Prodigal the Podcast. I'm your host, Don Jackson. That's Mr. Sean. And we want to thank once again our wonderful, wonderful guest, Miss Whitney Joy. Don't forget to go and purchase her new book. And until next time, peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Prodigal, the podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to embrace your own journey of self-discovery and transformation. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Join us again next time as we continue to explore the ever-evolving world of culture with your hosts, Don Jackson and Big Sean. Until then, keep discovering, keep transforming, and keep being the amazing person you are.